Much like Risotti had said, Pista had not sat idle during her first taste of independence. Once Evelyn's PDA had fallen from her pocket, it had been kicked to the beach by some absent-minded tourist. Pista had immediately gone after it, and despite there being a 3-meter drop, Pista had used her wings to land on the sand safely. It was after she had looked up at the seafront that the defender had begun to panic. She climbed back up, only to find no space to move, and returned to the beach. Pista then wandered aimlessly, hoping that she would run into her mother, Gabriel, or anyone else that she knew. It was then that she had bumped into the Defender family, biologically predisposed to know when one of their own kind was in distress. They had been attempting to get Pista to tell them what was wrong when Gabriel had bumped into them. If what Nish had told Gabriel about Defender family structure was anything to go by, this was a mother on holiday with her 2 children. He had gone fortunate with this. Pista's signs of distress were so subtle that no one else could even tell she had been upset. "Thank you for looking after her," Gabriel said, as he pulled out his PDA and called the others. As the call went through to Nish, the largest of the Defender said, "Don't mention it." Gabriel could feel the tension release from Nish over the phone. She attempted to barrage Gabriel with questions, but he explained that it would probably be best if they all spoke face to face. He also mentioned that it would probably be some wait before Errol returned. He supposed Nish was not thrilled by the suggestion, as she wanted answers now, but accepted it nonetheless. "Come on, you. Let's get you back to Mummy," Gabriel said, holding out his hand, which Pista happily took. Gabriel looked back at the Defender family once more and said, "Thanks again." After giving a slight bow, he headed straight for the sweet shop Errol had said was the rendezvous point. Had Gabriel been paying more attention to the Defender family as he left, and not on getting a hold of Risotti, he would have heard the youngest say, "That girl's got the freakiest looking dad I've ever seen." Nish groaned before saying, "You did the right thing, but you should have said, 'Errol, you dropped your PDA, not just run off on your own.'" "When I looked back up, you were gone," Pista replied, licking the frozen treat Gabriel had bought for her, or rather Pista was trying her best. A Defender's tongue was only used to swallow food already in the mouth. It played no part in speech. As a result, it was not very mobile, and Pista placed the entire ice lolly in her mouth, rasped it a few times, and removed it. "I hope Errol's alright," Risotti said, gazing over the sea of faces, hoping to spot just a glimpse of her sweetheart. "In this climate and gravity, she could search for days," replied Gabriel, who, despite what he had just said, was also keeping an eye out for the Ponoclind. "What are you all looking at?" Errol almost shouted, after spending a few seconds gazing at the beach herself. Gabriel nearly leapt out of his skin. She'd done it right next to his ear. "Sorry," Errol said, chuckling slightly. Gabriel's panic quickly vanished once he realized he was in no danger, and he realized something. "You know, we both laugh when we find something amusing." "Oh yeah, quite the quinky-dink," replied Errol. Evolution was indeed a lazy thing. "That's not really important though. I've lost my..." Errol said, but Pista offered her the PDA she had been keeping safe. "You dropped it," Pista explained. Errol took it and said, "Thank you." Pista hummed with joy at the praise. Gabriel was enjoying the sunset. It was something magical, even as it was wholly mundane. Nish sat beside him, with Pista quietly napping on top of her. Errol and Risotti were out, having an impromptu date before tomorrow's sea voyage. "Are sunsets like this on Earth?" asked Nish, keeping her voice down, so she did not wake her daughter. "More or less, though no gas giant is hanging over our heads," replied Gabriel, taking a sip from his drink, a weak alcoholic beverage that made a shandy look like hard liquor. "It sounds frightening to me. No planet above keeping your world safe?" said Nish, looking up at Ilohu. "I feel the opposite. Having that big world there, I can't help but feel like it will just swallow Midgard whole," stated Gabriel, following Nish's gaze. Nish wrapped her fingers against her chair's arm before asking, "Is it difficult being what you are?" Gabriel looked at her and took a few moments to parse what she was asking, but he came up blank and replied, "I am not sure what you mean." "A Death Worlder? You constantly seem on edge, always looking over your shoulder. I saw how you reacted when Errol returned. It looked like you were ready to rip her head off," explained Nish, considering how fluid her question was. She had clearly been thinking about this for a while. "Oh, you mean when she startled me?" Gabriel said, leaning back in his chair. "Happens all the time. Loud noises, sudden movements trigger the reflex." "Why?" asked Nish. She could not fathom why anyone would need such a behaviour. "Well, it could be a lion leaping to attack you, or a leopard, or a hyena, an elephant, a hippo, a rhino, a crocodile, a buffalo, a wolf, a bear, a falling tree, a landslide, or any number of hazardous animals or events," Gabriel explained. "Any human that did not have the response died. Though, I will admit it has lost much of its use now. he added, taking another sip. Though I suppose if I ever found myself lost in the wilderness, it would come in handy. So to answer your question, yes, but no more difficult than it is for you to be a Tafanda, explained Gabriel. To be honest, I am a little jealous. Just about every human wants to fly. Nish trilled. She did not know why, but she found it quite funny that a Death Rider was envious of her. The two sat in silence as the sun dipped below the horizon, and as it vanished and only the last glow of orange was visible, Nish said, You know, I've never actually sat down and watched the sunset. I can't believe I've waited this long. Gabriel had been the one to suggest it, and Nish was glad that he had. Do you often watch the sunset? She asked. At least once a month, Gabriel replied. I watch it with my sister. You must be very close, said Nish, watching the last glow vanish and night settle on Minigrad. Yes, we've been through a lot, her and me, he explained. Why didn't she come with you? Asked Nish absent-mindedly, gently stroking Pissa's head. She could not come, though I believe she wanted to, explained Gabriel, looking into his drink. Nish shivered as a cool sea breeze washed over them. I'm going to have to cut this short, Gabriel, before this one catches a cold, Nish said, giving her daughter a gentle squeeze. Not a problem, Nish. Good night, Gabriel said. Gabriel watched the two leave the balcony, and once they were gone, he looked up at the sky. It was partially cloudy, but Gabriel could spot a few stars. What are you doing, Gabriel? Me old fruit bat, you know better than this, he muttered to himself, gently rubbing his locket as best as he could through the suit.